Jannik Sinner's early 2026 dip. The one area that could define his season, the 2026 season, was supposed to be another statement year for Jannik Sinner. After cementing himself as one of the most consistent forces on the ATP Tour over the past 2 seasons, expectations were sky high. Yet, just a few tournaments into the new campaign, there's a noticeable contrast between Sinner and his biggest rival, Carlos Alcaraz. While Alcaraz has stormed to a flawless 12-0 start, lifting 2 trophies in dominant fashion, Sinner has quietly put together a respectable, but underwhelming 7-2 record. On paper, that's far from disastrous. In reality, it tells a deeper story about a subtle weakness that could shape the 2026 title race. And it all comes down to one thing: handling pressure. A solid record, but not a statement start. Sinner opened his year at the Australian Open, where he reached the semifinals. That's a strong result by most standards. But for a player chasing world number 1 status and Grand Slam dominance, it fell slightly short of expectations. That he followed that up with the quarterfinal exit at the Qatar Open, again competitive but not commanding. Meanwhile, Alcaraz has looked untouchable. The Spaniard's early season surge has widened the psychological gap, if not yet the ranking points gap. In elite tennis, perception matters. Momentum matters. And right now, the momentum is firmly on Alcaraz's side. The numbers reveal the real concern. The ATP evaluates players across 3 key performance categories. Serve return under pressure. Here's the twist: Sinner currently tops the tour in both serve and return metrics. That's elite territory. It confirms what fans already know. His baseline dominance, improved first serve, and aggressive returning have become some of the most dangerous weapons in men's tennis. Yet when it comes to the under-pressure category, the story shifts. Sinner currently sits 6th, trailing behind Carlos Alcaraz, Ben Shelton, Novak Djokovic, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Alexander Bublik. For most players, 6th would be an achievement. But for someone trying to dominate an era, it's a flashing warning sign. What does under pressure really mean? In ATP analytics, under pressure typically reflects performance in crucial moments. Breakpoints faced and save breakpoints, converted tiebreak, efficiency deciding set, when percentage clutch, serving a deuce. These are the moments that define champions. The difference between lifting a trophy and walking away frustrated often comes down to 1 or 2 points. And early in 2026, Sinner hasn't consistently won those moments. The Alcaraz comparison makes it louder. The comparison with Alcaraz makes Sinner's situation feel more urgent. Alcaraz thrives in chaos. When the crowd gets loud and the scoreboard tightens, he often elevates his level. His ability to produce fearless winners at 30-40 or 5-5 in a tiebreak is part of what separates him. Sinner, by contrast, tends to rely on structured baseline exchanges. His game is precise, calculated, and technically sound, but under scoreboard stress, slight hesitation has crept in, particularly when protecting leads or converting key break chances. That it's not a collapse. It's not a mental crisis. It's simply the difference between very good and championship ruthless. Why this is actually good news for Sinner, here's the encouraging part. Sinner doesn't need a technical overhaul. His serve? Elite. His return? Among the best in the world. His rally tolerance? Outstanding. The foundation is already there. Unlike players who must rebuild their mechanics or fitness, Sinner's issue is situational. It's about sharpening instincts in high-leverage moments that can be improved with match reps, targeted training scenarios, and strategic adjustments. And historically, Sinner has shown he can evolve quickly. The Djokovic blueprint, if there's one model Sinner could study, it's Novak Djokovic. Djokovic built his legacy not just on baseline excellence, but on his almost unmatched composure in decisive moments. His breakpoint conversion rates and tiebreak dominance turned close matches into routine victories. Sinner already possesses similar physical and technical attributes. If he develops that same killer instinct, he could close the marginal gap between himself and Alcaraz. Is it mental or tactical? It may not even be purely mental. Some analysts suggest Sinner sometimes sticks too rigidly to patterns under pressure. Alcaraz, on the other hand, is more willing to improvise. A drop shot here, a surprise serve and volley there in tight situations, Unpredictability can be the ultimate weapon that if Sinner adds a layer of controlled aggression or surprise to his biggest points, he could immediately boost his under-pressure metrics. The bigger picture, it's still February. It's important to zoom out that we're barely into the 2026 season. A 7-2 record is not alarming. A Grand Slam semifinal is not failure. A quarterfinal exit at a strong ATP event is hardly a collapse. But when you're competing in an era defined by razor-thin margins, and when your main rival is sprinting ahead undefeated, small weaknesses feel magnified. The race for year-end number one may well come down to who wins more deciding sets, who saves more break points, and who thrives when the tension peaks. Right now, that edge belongs to Alcaraz. The defining stretch ahead, the upcoming Masters events, and clay swing will provide the true test. Pressure moments multiply deep in big tournaments. If Sinner can convert 2 or 3 key tight matches into wins, the narrative flips instantly. Because the raw ability? It's unquestioned that if he improves this single area, his performance in clutch moments, there's every reason to believe he can close the gap on Alcaraz and reclaim momentum in the 2026 season. The difference between a strong season and a dominant one often lies in just a handful of points. For Jannik Sinner, 2026 might be defined by how he plays them.